So I am not sure if I believe in the customer is always right.
Actually, that philosophy is flawed.
There's
more to the quote.
I do not believe in that.
Wonderful quote.
Yeah.
I don't remember it exactly, but it insinuates that it is within a certain spectrum. After that, they are wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So the customer is not always right. However, the customer should have the opportunity to express their feedback. That's what I believe. Right. Whether you think it's valid or it's not valid.
Welcome, lovely people, to another exciting episode of the Sincerely Accra podcast. Yes. We're back again. And, on this episode, we're going to be doing something very lovely. But before I get into it, I need to do my opening introductions. My name is Joseph NT, host of the Sincerely Accra podcast. If this is your first time listening, you are in for a ride. Buckle up. What you say? It's safety first. And if this is on speaker, catch on around and say sebi because you can't kakra but nyansa basa what you see exactly. But this podcast is brought to you courtesy the Gold Coast Report. That's the GCR network. And I want to give a quick shout out to my co-creator and producer, Mr. Kwame Asante Ofori. Yes. Bruni Becca said my work husband. You're so young son. You get what I'm saying? Yes, I really tried to do that without making a mistake, but here we go. My fat tongue got in the way. But listen, on this episode, we're going to be talking about making money by way of working. People often say, what's the most ideal job? What kind of job do you want to do? What's your dream job? Is it dream job? Dream job? How the hell do you think I dream about labor? Sorry, the account is full, a little shopping. What I really would like to do is just to throw parties, host dinners. Do you get it? So listen, I'm going to get into it, all right? I have two very lovely special... Look, this episode is like bring your friends to work day. Madam for your back, Kwame Asante down for our friends in your back around. But we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship in this economy, 2024, because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a ding. Who does dear? But I can't say 9 to 5. So people are like 9 to 5 is too much. I can't do it. But here we are. So we're going to be talking to these I would like to say successful entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? And so we get into the things. What's it like running a business, starting a business, maintaining a business? Get yourself out of it. Every time they say it's getting harder to get out of your bed and turn your swag on and go to work. Imagine you don't have your boss, you're your own boss. How is that like? And so that's what we're going to be doing. I would normally do an introduction, but I think I want them to do it themselves. I want to teach people how to be confident and talk their shit. I'll let them do it. So I'm going to start. I have here Nyanyuie and Jay. Yeah. So, ladies first. Jay, tell the people, who are you? What do you do?
My name is JJB. I'm a social culinary entrepreneur. So I run a couple of food businesses. I also run a social culinary enterprise.
Social culinary entrepreneur.
Yes, so I use culinary to create impact.
Yes.
Yes.
Because if you eat good, you live well. We
use culinary skills. We teach underprivileged women and underskilled women culinary skills so they can go back into their society to create money for their communities and their families.
Okay. So even when you're an entrepreneur, you can still do CSR. You know what I mean? That's what it's giving. Okay, Nyanyuie, what about you?
I'm a designer. That's the bottom line. I use stories to sell t-shirts, basically. That's what I do.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm trying to become like Nike in a couple of years. That's my goal, essentially.
It's possible.
Oh, yeah.
When you said it was like, it's possible.
In fact, let me take this again.
Yes.
Good news will be bigger than Nike in 2030. I've said it here first.
Yeah. Wait, I just be a small boy.
Yeah.
All right, so I just want to know, did you guys start off straight away as entrepreneurs, or did you do a 9 to 5 ever? Because I know there was a time it would be a very Jollof festival. It was very exciting. Well, I think we did 2 events before we started, and then we did fast food festival. I've always known Jay as an entrepreneur. In fact, that's not even the first time.
Oh my God.
First time we share Jay, we could do Angwamu in the shop. Osu. You remember? No, yeah, Angwamu be pink, be oh my God. Yeah, so I've always known as an entrepreneur. But Jay, those days, any age, say, hey, in my heydays. So I'm like, Jay, have you ever worked in an office?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I started working when I was in uni.
Okay.
And I worked more than 10 years in an office, 95.
Really?
Yes.
So what was when did you decide to stop a 9 to 5, and what was the catalyst? Yeah.
I don't remember the specific year, but I had just started being an entrepreneur while still doing my 9 to 5.
Okay.
And then I realized that, like they say in Ghana, you can't run a business without being there. So it was important that I choose one. I couldn't eat my cake and have it. So I decided to be an entrepreneur.
Jay, no, but so a simultaneous equation, but now she couldn't find X. Yes. Okay, so wait, the first business was the Angwamo business, or was it something else?
No, so my very first business was a cafe called She Brews. I've always wanted to own a cafe.
She Brews?
Yes, a lady who
She Brews.
She Brews.
Oh, I never heard of that. Did you have a space, or it was
yes, we had a space. We were around Peppers at Ring Road. So that's when I started, meeting other people, because I've always been from an advertising, production, and marketing background. But then I began to meet other people through that. So we're selling coffee, and I was thinking, let's, do a little bougie and meet the Brony for. And people will come in and say, do you have banku? Do you have...
we're close to the gym.
Yes.
What would you mean? Well, how old were you?
I don't know.
Hey,
I was in my 20s, my early 20s.
Because you had a shop you were renting?
I was renting.
Hey, what's cool?
So that was the shop. When I left, then my friend Sandy she's a fashion designer, Sandy Owusu. Oh, okay.
TikTok don't come for me. The last time I said I didn't know somebody on this show, they dragged me for
I'm so
weeks.
sorry. She's a fashion designer.
Okay.
And she took over the shop. So it was a little space there at Switchback Road.
Switchback Road.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you I don't think you told me what the catalyzing force was that says, okay, I want to do entrepreneurship. I think you told me what made you stop.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but whilst you were working, why did you want to do something on the side?
Well, I think I also come from a background where, my father was an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Like a very serious, interesting entrepreneur. But I've always known that even if I work for somebody, I would want to explore other interests, because I wasn't working in the field that I wanted to be in. So I was in marketing and production, and I still wanted to explore this food interest that I had. Okay. So I decided that why don't we try and see if we could bring the experience of what I learned whilst I was in marketing to come and manage my own brand.
Right. Yeah. Oh, very interesting. Nyanyuie.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, I met you years ago down some roundabout.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah,
I know.
I was talking to Kwame yesterday, and then I was like, give me Kojo. So
and I have your number.
Yeah,
I have saved as Joey from years ago.
I was like, Kwame was like, I've never given him his number before. I was like, you said he's going to give something to him. I remember that's all roundabout.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are a designer. That's graphic design, right?
I've done graphic design for about a decade. I started doing videography, media, and film only 3 years ago.
Wow.
So I started from graphic design, and then I switched to UI and UX. And then when I realized that I could do more and I started adding the videography, then I found out that there was a thing called cross-media design. So cross-media design is just leveraging all the design skill sets to do one thing.
Okay.
So that's practically where Good News is coming from. So what I'm doing with Good News is that I'm leveraging all the skills that I have to sell t-shirts, basically.
No, I was spending some time on your social media last night, and trust me, I was actually very sad I couldn't make it to your
film screening.
Yeah. I was like, I was telling Kwame that when we do our 10-year documentary, Nyanyuie should shoot it. Will you do it?
I'd love to.
Hey. Bonded.
I'd love to.
I wanted to ask, you've had an office job before?
I've had an office job for the longest time. I used to work with a TV station in Kumasi. Even before then, I used to work with an architect, and I was doing design for him.
Okay.
So even then, I was dabbling into designs as well, like architectural design as well. And then I moved to Kumasi, worked for a TV station, and that's when I started to hone in like regular design, editing, filming, and all of those things. And then when I was coming back to Accra, I didn't want the restriction of going to one place and then spending all of my time there. So I changed the way I worked in an office. So instead of going to one office 9 to 5, I had retainers, and then I'd give my design services to them based on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. These are the people that are slowly crumpling the agency business. I'm telling you, I've worked in agency, like I've worked in 2 different agencies, cumulatively 4 years. And I remember one of the things my boys used to complain about is all the people that are doing the freelance, they are charging less than us.
You know, that's funny. That's interesting because that was never my entrance. The reason why I was doing it that way was also because I wanted to do a couple of jobs and make the kind of money that I wanted. So ideally, and also at the time, I had built my resume to a level, so I couldn't charge small.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But I mean, the thing is that as an individual who's probably working from your bedroom, your overhead is not the same as a whole agency that employs like 2 people. So you are going to get a job and you say, give us 20,000 to manage your Facebook. Me, one person, I'll take 6K. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you guys decided to start your own thing, what was the first thing you did? Because I remember when Carmen and I wanted to start a podcast, the first thing we did was we were hustling over what the name would be. Like over, come along with Joe, Hibiscus Fusion. We had horrible names, I'm telling you. Yeah. Look, Kobe, I'm shaking your head. If we had called this podcast Hibiscus Fusion, it would be Hibiscus Fusion to this day. Yeah, so what was the first thing you guys did when you decided to start your entrepreneurship journey?
I think the first thing for me was to find a way to get my capital.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because the name came quite easily to me.
Oh, so she will know.
She actually picks the best names.
I know.
For a business, it's the best name.
You know, I used to think Mukaase, it was Mukaase Chic. And then you always say, no, it's chic, right? So yours was capital. How did you go about getting capital?
What I'm going to say, I know a lot of people say, don't start your business by doing that. But I did take a loan. So in my office, a lot of people were taking loans for cars because, the banks will come to you. I took my money and I used it to start my business.
Oh, really? A lot of people say don't use a bank loan for a business. Yeah, I mean,
business-wise, it's not advisable to use a loan for a business to start a business. Yeah.
But that's how you started.
That's how I started.
But if you don't use loan, where would you use it? Like, even if your father gives it to you, say loan. That's how I feel.
Yeah, no, rather prefer that you use a loan that doesn't have, you don't have to pay so much interest on. Yeah, but I used my...
Did you pay them back?
I did pay them back, but I didn't make the money back.
Oh, okay. We're going to talk about some of the failures because we're starting to maybe breathe. Nyanyuie, what about you? What's the first thing you thought about?
As for me, I was forced, to be honest.
You were forced to do
I was forced to start the business.
By who?
It's very, very interesting. So I used to do them for myself. Me and my shit. I wear my own thing.
T-shirts. Okay.
Yeah, and then a friend of mine, I did an interview for someone. A friend of mine took a video. And then he put it out. Like, he didn't tell me anything about it. And all of a sudden, I was getting feedback like, oh, Charlie, you're doing that thing. You say you've been talking, son. You're not doing that thing. And then, actually, what it showed me at that point, because the reason why I never actually started because I thought we'd fail.
Oh, okay.
So I thought we'd fail because I was trying to perfect it if I actually do it. But then that was when I learned that you don't need it to be perfect to start. You start it and then you perfect it.
Yes.
So that's what I did. So after he put it out and I was like, okay, it looks great. The feedback is good. Then let me just lean in. And that's how it started.
Yeah. I mean, we started in a wardrobe. Look at me now. No people behind the camera. People. Miss Nami wardrobe. No, she would do it. Hi guys, welcome to Cinema.
Those are some of my favorite episodes, actually.
Really?
Yeah, the wardrobe episodes.
I'm not even gonna lie. And now that I say this, people are gonna know. I prefer to record in my wardrobe because I feel like when they are here, I can't fool the way I want to fool. I'm always like, I feel like this body see me in some way. Honestly, but what about you? Where did you get your startup capital from?
Mine was family and friends, to be honest.
Family and friends. Okay. How do you go about that conversation? Because Ghana, we don't trust each other. That's one thing I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Like, I have certain friends. I love them, but if they ask me for money, I won't give it them.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. There's a rule: if you're expecting the money back, don't give it. That's the rule.
My personal rule is don't give an amount that you cannot do away with.
Yeah.
So you know, what did you tell them?
So luckily for me, and I don't think this will apply to a lot of people, but I'm also coming from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad, my brother, my sister, all of them. So even when I was working there 9 to 5, they were encouraging me to quit and start something. Yeah.
I have never heard that before.
Yeah, because also those times were very some way. So they were really encouraging me to start something of my own, because I'm always seeing the things that I want to do. I've always known that I wanted to do this ever since I was a child.
Yeah.
So they were encouraging me to just quit and start. So when I was ready, just like, what do you need?
Oh.
Yeah, and then they helped me start the little one. So when I started with just about 50 shirts.
Okay.
The first drop that we did were 50 shirts, and we sold out in a week.
Okay.
And already I had the proof that this is something that could run. So when it happens like that, and I go back and I show that these are the results that I've been able to make based on the first thing that you gave to me, then it's easier to have the conversation to give me more. So that's basically how it is.
Generally, do you think it's difficult to raise business capital in this country? Jay, and I'll ask you that because I feel like you have done multiple things. From Shebrews to Mukaase Chic to I just saw culinary for social change.
Yeah.
I just watched your YouTube video this morning. The one where you said 4 months ago, you said you are back, you're going to be doing, where's the content?
Focus, Joseph.
I'm holding it out. Do you think it's difficult to raise capital here for business?
From my perspective, it is difficult. Unless you have a family and
like
friends,
Nyanyuie, what do you need?
Like, what do you need? But it really is difficult. I'll give you a personal story. So a couple of years ago, I needed some money from a bank to work on my Mukaase Chic business. And I went there, filled everything. You know, they came in, did all their checks, blah, blah, blah. And then when they got to the final person who had to sign, he said, what kind of business is this? I said, it's a waakye. Who eats like waakye at night? So he had to send like 2-3 people again to our East Legon branch to figure out. And I remember the girl coming back to me, she said, oh my God, I was so surprised at the number of clients you had and the kind of clients that you have.
The cars that come to park there.
Focus. But I didn't get the loan because he said to me that waakye is not a business where he's guaranteed that we'll be able to pay that sum of money. And this was a loan that I had sat down with an accountant and we had done a whole spreadsheet of how we're going to get the money back. But if it was, maybe
oil and gas, import and export, almost no one
yeah, I know. It's very difficult. And also your friends as well. I have never asked for I've never asked for money from a friend for business, but my family, I think also till now, my family don't really understand what I'm doing. I just moving on and let's go.
Yeah, give me crap. I'm free.
It's almost let's go. But it's really difficult. If you don't have a family that's supportive or a financial system in place, because the rates are so high. There are also the private people who are renting who are giving out loans without loan license. But their rates are even higher than the banks. But so it's almost do you want to go to the bank and they say no, or you want to take it from a private group of friends or business and the rates are 10% a month? Which
but
is
you seem to be very confident in the bank, because this is another example of you going back to the bank. Also,
yeah. Oh no.
Almost, if you don't pay them back, they'll come and carry your car and things like that. Collateral.
Come and carry the guy.
No, but I remember when I used to do Off the Top, there was a season where, because I used to do it out of pocket for 4 seasons before I started making money. A season where I didn't have any money. And I just told my friends that, Charlie, I don't have money. And they contributed to pay for the production. So I think family and friends, depending, because I gave him the money to start the business. That's the problem. But the next question I have here was do you have any advice for the best way to raise capital? But I don't know if there's a best way.
Well, the truth is, another thing that we fail to see is that there are generally different ways that there are different currencies that you can use to start the business. And usually we are fixated on the money part. But you realize that you have a friend who has a camera. You have a friend who can run the audio. You have a friend who takes the photos. You have a friend who has a nice living room that you can shoot the video in. You have a friend who edits. And these are people and you're not just taking from them. These are people that you've also contributed to their life in some way. So leveraging that currency alone would help you give you the head start, because before somebody will give you the money, they need to see what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
And before they see that, you have to do some groundwork by yourself. So usually that is some one of the ways that you can go around it. But even the family and friends money and stuff is good for the beginning.
Yeah.
But at the point where you need to scale, then you need to start talking with like
Bigger.
that's when you need to look bigger.
Yeah.
There are so many ways. We've tried so many ways because we've done some projects together, G and I.
Yeah, I heard you have friends.
Oh yeah, she's my G.
When I took Kwame, I said, Kwame, for the Papa, me didn't leave Papa, bro. And I'm see Jane, say, oh yeah, they are friends. I'm say, I had no idea.
Yeah, we're very good friends.
Yeah, one of the other ways is that, and this is something that I wasn't aware of until only last year, that there are so many grants available for things to get done. As long as you've done it before, and the grant you're applying for is just to do it at a bigger scale, you are likely to get it. And not a lot of people are privy to that information.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned, especially like from Jay, because Jay will always be sending me links. Apply to this thing, apply to this thing. And I mean, I'm like, I don't know, me myself, I hold myself back. But Jay is always sending me links to this thing. And I think a lot of people are very limited in what they think or where they think they can get money from. So it's true, there are grants. There are, we're a third world country, guys.
Yes.
Sometimes, the Caucasians want to feel good about themselves. They'll give you some money. It's the fact. That's the fact. They'll give you some money. Just you have to prove how serious you are, what you want to do with it, and all those kind of things. Which I will tell you, people fail at a lot.
Yeah.
It's like you have an idea, but you've not sat down to do your numbers game to see what's going to go. So when people ask you, okay, how are you going to make a profit? How long will it take you? And then you say, oh, we're on Pema, and doesn't want to give me the money. That's not the case.
One of my favorite things to also do is collaborating with like-minded people to come together to start a business.
Yes.
I know that a lot of people say, oh, it's risky, my friend did this, and all those stories, but it's also one of those ways that your business is able to stand the test of time, because where you fall short, you have another person in the team who's able to help you. You bring your little money together and you're able to start something. So collaborative businesses are great.
I even want to give them an example of Jollof Festival, right?
Yeah.
So at the time that we started doing Jollof Festival, I was working in an agency. I was a community manager. Yaka community manager, Facebook page. It's not like I'm in the charge of La Paz community or something. Like, like brands, Facebook pages and stuff like that. And Jay and I had a mutual friend and they started a business. So they needed someone to run the Jollof Festival page.
Yes.
And then he said, oh, Joseph can do it, And at the time I was young. I wasn't even looking for money at the time. Because anybody that knows me, I always like to get experience first. We are not Bijiska. So we just, because of my experience with Off the Top and stuff like that, I was running the Jollof Festival page, coming up with ideas. We had a friend that was a graphic designer. So it was for Kobo.
Exactly.
Yes,
and we did the first event and it did so well. Then they said, oh, we made some money, guys. Everybody get. Some of you, because they said no free labor. Sometimes you have to pay your dues. I'm sorry. All right. The next thing, do you know that they said young people who start businesses in Ghana, they have a 5 years tax holiday? Mwajibi.
I haven't heard. Well, 5 years, me, true mama, me. I did not qualify.
I think you said your business is 3 years old, so you are inside.
I'm inside.
Yeah, no, but I've heard it. Do you think it works, or it's you who you know?
I mean, right now, sometimes young people start businesses and we leave out some important parts, like learning about tax and all these things, and it's not a shame to talk to someone who knows more about it or actually ask for help. There are lots of young accountants who not, charge your salary, but just ask you for a stipend so they can help you put your business together. Or there are companies who focus on young businesses, helping them with finance, tax, and all those things. So it's very important that if you are starting a business, don't be afraid of umbejisikanibi and whatnot. Just ask for what is available and what's not available. So when you're making decisions, it's easier for you in terms of financial.
Yeah, and it's all investment. That's the thing. You want to start on a good footing.
Yes.
And that's the thing. You've put something out there, they've sold it. Let me just continue. Before you realize, even your revenue that you're supposed to be feeding back, one city, But just going off the back of that, I want to start a business. What would you say the 5 things that I should be focusing on? I've made up my mind I want to start a business. Which 5 things should I be thinking about?
You want me to talk about?
Yeah.
I think the main thing is to plan for long term.
What does that look like?
So plan for long term is, this is where I want the business to be in 5 years. When you do, as soon as you want to make the money immediately, that's it. The business is not going to work.
Hey, this social media era, everybody's looking for now.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Especially if you're trying to build something for posterity's sake. It's not going to. If it's something that's a low-hanging fruit that you can do with skills that you've already previously acquired, that's fair. But if it's something that is a new market that you're entering into and you want to make the money immediately, it's not going to work. So if you're planning for the long term, then you speak to the right people about it. Because first of all, I'm going to take this from a creative perspective. As a creative, we are stuck in the idea and the execution. Like, we do something nice and it's dope, and we're like, oh man, this is sick. And then we put it out, and then we're like, yeah, Charlie, you did something dope, man. This is fire. You're a chef. You're cooking, no street food. You know. But then you forget that the accounts is one of the most important things about your business. So for me, the first person I spoke to was an accounts manager. It's like, look, I don't know how to handle the money.
Yeah.
Handle the money for me. Once I had that, I knew that I was on track. Then the second thing was somebody to keep me afloat with regards to the management of what I'm trying to say. Because again, I'm coming from a creative perspective.
Okay.
From the creative perspective, you're seeing the now, but you need to sell the vision to somebody who can see the future that you are going to. So I've been saying Nike by 2030 for years.
Oh, okay.
I've been saying Nike by 2030 for years, and there's one person in my team who always reminds me of that. When I try to do something like, oh, Charlie, we'll sell this and we'll make the money. It's like, no, it's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to be like this person. So let's adjust for that to fit. So basically what I'm saying is, you plan for the long term, and then the most important asset for your business are the people. That human resource, you can't do away with it.
True.
I've mentioned an accountant. I mentioned somebody who keeps you abreast of what you're trying to do. And then yourself. If you have these 3 people alone, your business is on a great start. Because if you're doing it by yourself, you're a freelancer, you're not a business, you're not doing a business. No, you're a freelancer. As long as you bring people involved, and then those are the people who will make or break you. That's for fact.
Jay, do you want to add something?
I think for someone who is very notorious for creating niche businesses.
How many do you have right now? Should we count?
You don't want to know. I think first of all is obviously, thinking through the business. I love niche businesses, so thinking through what kind of business I want to do, and also looking for ways to equip myself with knowledge. Because you work with a team of people, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's like a blind person who is leading a group of people. So it's very important for me that I do that. I also I'm an advent supporter of talking to someone who knows their numbers and helping you out, because trust me, you can work for 10 years. So you be like, and
then bring 1,000 Ghana cedis, I say 100 cedis.
Exactly.
Where is the money going?
If you look at our counterparts who live in other countries, you'd see like a newsletter from a young person to say, oh, I started a business with $200 and I've grown it into a 1.5 million CD business, $1.5 million business. You can't say that because you didn't write it. You didn't.
It's true.
You don't have any documentation.
Record keeping.
You don't have anything that shows like how you've grown the business to how many years and so many things that you used to grow the business. So it's very important that you put the numbers down. Also, your target audience. Each business has people that it would appeal to. I think this week I saw there was a review by somebody who's into food who said, oh, they are selling Kosiani Meko for 50 cedis and she'll buy the street one.
I saw it.
It made me like chuckle because there is a target market who appreciates what fine dining stands for in the industry. So you cannot come from the streets and come and compare that.
Right.
There's Nikes and there's China, whatever.
Okay.
So it depends on where you are in the society status and what you prefer based on. So you have to look for your target audience.
This just came to me. Is it? Do you find niche businesses like that very lucrative? Because people will say, this thing that you are doing is so expensive. Who has the time? Who is going to buy Kuchani for 50 Ghana cedis just because you have AC that you can sit inside? Do you find that those businesses are lucrative? And would you? I mean, I don't know, because you do a lot of like niche stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do they have longevity?
Oh, all my businesses are thriving.
Hey! Then what's the secret?
Well, I think, first of all, I do appreciate niche businesses because I think that you think a lot through it. You think about your target market, your audience, and it's easy for you to like reinvent yourself when it's a niche business. So that's why I enjoy doing it. And it's also because of my social work, it's interesting for me to hear people say, oh, I didn't think this would work. Like, oh, I didn't know that maybe you can sell meat pie at this level and make it look or taste this way or look this way. I didn't think you could freeze waakye in such a way and send it outside.
Yes.
Air
packets.
It keeps me on my feet.
Right. So
that I don't have to go through a normal African business system of trying to copy the next person. But then instead of copying, I'm more interested in reinventing and making the idea that I had in the beginning more exciting for my consumers.
Right.
So that's why I love doing niche businesses. Does it thrive all the time? I cannot say yes.
It's seasonal.
I mean, there are businesses that are niche businesses that's, when it starts, everybody's there. It's like, hey, have you heard the new? Hey, have you heard it? And after a while, it's like, you know what? Yeah, they can't. So
it's a nice club business.
Yeah, but it's a niche business. Doesn't mean it's not a business.
Yes.
Even though it's niche, it's a business. So all the things that people are applying to their businesses to stay longer for 10, 15 years, you'd have to do the same. You can't sit in your house and say, oh, I sell waakye here, so that's it. They went back. One day you wake up and there's nobody there, you carry the waakye back to your house. So you still have to continuously doing all the, all the marketing things, go outside the box, word of mouth. And now, people say social media, but traditional media is never out of date. So TV, radio, billboards, they're never out of date. So as you are doing the new ones, you are doing the small ones. Because if you look at your target market, I think we were looking at some stats a few days ago. And the guy was telling us about how if you look at the platforms like Facebook was around like 60-something%, like in Ghana. It's not Facebook, it's WhatsApp.
WhatsApp statuses.
Yes. WhatsApp is the most used.
If you want to do business, WhatsApp statuses.
Apparently.
So if you sit down and someone says that, oh, give me money and let me just do Instagram for you. No. You're losing out like a whole group of like demographics because there's WhatsApp there. I think the next one was TikTok.
Yep.
So even if you look at TikTok, there are the Gen Zs.
You said TikTok like an old person.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, how do you say it?
TikTok.
They always say there's TikTok. Like old TV that.
What are you supposed to say?
I don't even know.
I just wanted to give people context. If you hear Jay saying a lot about waakye, it's because she owns a very successful business, waakye by Mukaase Chic, which is in East Legon, and now also in Laboni, opposite Zen Garden, Munku Tobi.
And soon to be Chado.
Hey, really? Are you in a Chado branch? Okay, yeah. And one of the things, the reason why I can attest to what she's saying is that you see, she's always reinventing herself. I saw a couple of years ago, right? Jay invented like, you know how I have friends who come to this country, and then when they are leaving, they will pack all sorts of things and they will go and freeze it before they will send it and everything. And Jay does this thing where I think they do an airtight
a vacuum.
Yeah, vacuum of the waakye. They will separate the different things and they will airtight vacuum whatever it is, and you can ship it. Like she will say that, okay, people come and I sell out. Right? She's trying to scale. So the next thing is, how do I also feed the audience that also love waakye, but then they will go outside. That's how you have to be thinking about it. Exactly. Yeah. Nyanyuie, so
talk to me.
I want to talk about challenges, right? A lot of people always say, I'm afraid business is risky. And also in fact, I'm just going to say since COVID, the prices of things have been going up and down, more unstable than, GH TikTok. I mean, TikTok, GH Twitter. More unstable than GH Twitter. What, as an entrepreneur, like, how do you wrap your mind around it? Because you wake up today, the fall is here. You wake up tomorrow, the dollar is here, right? How do you guys work with challenges as an entrepreneur to make sure you stay afloat?
That's a very difficult question because you think you solved it and then another one just creeps up every now and then. One of my major challenges has always been when I started, my goal was to produce in Ghana and say that everything was made in Ghana.
Oh.
This laughter that I'm laughing.
No, I know because everybody like that whole thing of like made in Ghana. Please.
In fact. Also, Ghana will show you that it won't work. So that's one of the things. The way usually it happens is that for me, I try to keep an ecosystem of like-minded people who are doing similar things that I'm doing. And then we borrow off of each other. So I have other friends who do something similar to what I'm doing. And I'm like, Charlie, this is what I'm trying to figure out here. It's not working. How do I fix it? And usually some of them have probably been there before me. And this is how they solve this. But right now, the one thing that I'm trying to solve is to scale. Because I have played in these regions for so long. I need to step it up a notch. And to scale means that I need to have a shop here in London. I need to have a shop here in the US. I need to have a shop somewhere. My production can no longer be in Ghana anymore. I cannot have somebody in Kumasi do my production for me. If I was trying to do 100, 200 shirts, yes, it's fine. But if I'm trying to do 1,000, 2,000 shirts, that means that I need to ship them in. When I started, that was how I was doing it.
Right.
But then the dollar was 60s.
I forgot there was a time like that. So there was a time the dollar was 3 Ghana cedis. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Wow.
The dollar was 6 cedis.
Yeah.
And now the dollar is 14.1.
Hey, it's above 14.
Yeah. Now the dollar is 14.1.
I thought it was 12.
I thought it was 13.8.
What do you want to?
It depends on the day you check. That's what it is.
What do you want to? So even now, when I'm trying to raise capital, I try not to raise it from here. Because at the end, the Ghana cedi would do me more harm than good.
Right.
So I try to raise capital in currencies that are more stable, basically. And then that's how I'm working it. My other challenges are probably marketing. And by marketing, I mean, I'm just trying to find more clever ways to do it. So the thing is, good news, if somebody asks me right now, I say I sell t-shirts.
Right.
But I think the apex of all media is film.
Yeah.
And with film, everything comes together. Costume, lighting, video, audio, music, all of it comes together. And I'm trying to position Good News at that apex so that we can cater for all of these things. You see, so if that means that I cannot approach the way I'm selling my shirts like a regular person would do. I have a film coming out tomorrow.
Oh.
And it's about food. It's one of the themes that I'm selling right now.
Okay.
But I didn't just do some videos. I did like a whole production with the squad to just shoot it. It's a very short film. It's about 100 seconds.
100 seconds. What's that in minutes?
That's a minute 40.
Oh, okay. Why did you just say that? No, it's marketing. Actually, it's marketing.
Kilograms, pounds.
It's marketing. My film is 100 seconds long. It's marketing. I get it. No, but like I said, I was watching Mandem, right? And I now see the Nike vision because brands like Nike, Apple
never talk about the stuff.
They don't talk about it. They are selling a feeling, and I see that you do that. I was watching, I was like, I need to get a tee. I saw there was one where they've written it across like this, and then the person, I was like, I just want to buy it so that when I'm walking, I'll do this. So no, I see what you mean. Yeah. So that positioning also means that there are different ways to navigate because we don't have a system that is set for you to build your foundation on. So you're figuring it out as you go. So the main thing for me, to be honest, is the ecosystem. I have a team of people around me who are creatives doing similar things, and I'm like, I have a challenge. I'm trying to figure it out. How do I fix this? I apply it. I do it this way in music. So maybe when you apply it to your clothes this way, it might work. I've tried, I experiment. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then I find another way to move forward. Because the thing is, I learned very early that if I wanted to base my business on my country, I would fail. Very early that if I wanted to base it on the systems in my country, on whatever the politics is in my country, there's no way I would succeed. Would you say that's because of the type of business you're doing?
For sure.
Or Jay, do you feel the same way? Do you also not base like what you do just on Ghana?
Well, I live and thrive in Ghana. So obviously when I start thinking about the business, I think of it as a Ghanaian business. However, I think it also has a potential to move into other countries.
Spaces,
And food has become a very like important part of country tourism.
Yeah,
So tourism, culture, so people are making a fuss about African food who are not even African. So we as Africans need to make need to
Which,
hold
by the way,
narrative.
enough of the jollof conversation. Every time you meet somebody who is a chef or whatever from Africa, the first thing they want to ask is jollof. Read more. We have a lot of other things. Jeez.
Yeah, Africa is more than jollof.
It's more than jollof. Sorry, I just had to get that in there.
It's fine.
Wait, it's like,
I understand you.
can you imagine all the things that you have done? You go, let's say you go into the big platform, they say, so Ghana or Nigeria jollof, won't you roll your eyes? I'm like, come on.
Senegalese jollof.
They're also trying to enter the challenge. Nyanyuie, has there ever been a time where it's like you pay the salaries, but you don't pay yourself?
Are you kidding? For like the first few years, there's nothing like that.
Really?
There's nothing like you're paying yourself.
Wow.
No.
Really?
For like the first few years, I mean, the job of the leader is to save. So clearly, and you are not at the point where you would, even if you can pay yourself, it's just like a very little sum. And these are the people who, because the truth is, the vision is yours. It's not theirs. You may have sold it to them and they are riding along, but it's yours.
Yeah.
And they need to at least earn their ends meet. So if there's ever the situation where you cut yourself out so that they get their ends meet, you do it like, you don't even have to think about it. And that usually happens for the first few years before it gets to the point where,
Yeah. I mean, unless you're like in an industry like fintech and those places and you've got some great investments, that one you already have an Excel sheet. Even then there's a cap. So you have an Excel sheet of how much you should pay yourself. If you pay yourself more than that, then there's trouble. Yeah. But in our kind of business, after a few years, but when you start making small money, please pay yourself.
Pay yourself.
It took me a while. Like
before you started paying yourself.
Like my cousin had to come in and say, "Hey, madam, stop what you're doing."
Yeah.
It took me a while, but now I'll take the money. If I have to buy internet for this, I'm taking it. It's important.
For me, what I do is a stipend. It's not like a salary. Like just something to keep me afloat. Very base, covers the base things that I do, and then everything else.
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of challenges recently with power. And, people even say overtaxation and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
What is risk mitigation like for an entrepreneur? What was like when some of these things are happening, what are you guys thinking? How do I, navigate frequent? I'm telling you, recently the studio had to go and buy a generator. It wasn't in our yearly budgets. But we can't come and sit here, record, they are not lights in the cut off. You get it? So even, I remember when we were doing my stand-up show in February 24th.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm a little composure. I remember we had done like the cost of like the stage and everything. And then we're like, oh my God, we have to get a generator because in case like park. So now every event we do, you have to add generator and it's not easy. So like, what is that? What's risk mitigation like now as entrepreneurs?
I mean, for me and the industry that I work in, because we don't have a system or a policy that helps with pricing, which, it happens, and pricing is across border ingredients, our equipment, all the other things that we use as a business. It's important that we put together a little sum of money for things that will come on in the year. But even that, we don't have a certain percentage that we can put down. So for example, if a cylinder of gas was 190,
I hear that one has gone up.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, and a few days ago it's 240. Like, you can never see that coming.
Yes.
Because in a whole year we have increment, and once increment hits the fuel, it hits like across board. So you can never tell. But what usually happens is, for instance, some restaurants or some businesses will say they would have to increase their profit margin so it means they will increase the sale of what they are selling. So their food, Or some businesses say, okay, we'll test it out and then we'll increase it maybe in the second quarter or the third quarter, what have you. So even though we know that these things will happen and we make some sort of arrangement for it, I think it's never enough because we don't have the policies the country doesn't have the policies that we would know, or they don't even tell us. It's like there's no, there's
you see it on the news.
You just see that it's increasing tomorrow. So you are never really prepared for it. But if we had a system where maybe the agricultural sector or the minister says, hey, we're going to increase tomato sales by this percentage in about 2 months, you cannot prepare yourself. That every 6 months there's a shuffle. So, but because you never know that, it's either you're chesting these increments and reducing your profit margins, or you are increasing. And depending on if you're like me, you can't increase your budget to where are you going?
Yeah, they're just certain. Yeah.
But there are some other businesses that can do that. Some other businesses can do that. They can increase their price, and people will still not even complain about it. But for us running this kind of business, it's a little hard.
There's a name for that in economics, Murray fee. But then I was going to ask, t-shirts. Somebody will say, now that there's not a lot of disposable income, why am I going to buy a t-shirt? Customize my t-shirt. Like, do you think that disposable income being affected is affecting the ability for your target markets to patronize you?
The thing that we fail to see is that it's not necessarily, it's for sure, people buy our stuff with disposable income, but the way that we approach it, because you just give an example yourself, like I have never come to you, Joseph, and said, oh, Joseph, tell me to t-shirt. You were going through my stuff and you're like, oh man, I need some of this. And that's my approach. My approach is not to put something in your face where you have to look and see how much money I have to spend on this. It's to make you think that you need it. That's my approach. For me, it's easier that way. And because of that, sometimes I may not have the numbers, because when I set off, I said I'd rather sell 15 shirts to 100 people repeatedly than to 1,000 people once.
True.
And that's what I've been building. So my approach has never been, better. My approach is, oh man, he's doing some really good stuff. But what's the guy wearing in the video? What's he wearing in the thing? I want that.
And he does like these voiceovers. Hey, when you watch the video, when I started, my name, Nyanyuie, was given to me by my parents.
Who else give my name?
No, I was listening to your video. Okay, 2 more questions. The next one for the two of you. Do you guys feel like entrepreneurs get a lot of respect? I see a lot of discourse on the internet, 9-to-5ers versus entrepreneurship. And I just feel like sometimes people feel entrepreneurs are people oko school so you couldn't get an office job, or you don't have a certificate, so you can't get an office job. Do you feel like you get a lot of respect as entrepreneurs?
You're asking the person who doesn't care about the respect that's coming from people.
Same here.
No, me, I'm making my money. You're respecting me, or not respecting me.
Okay, do you guys look down on 9-to-5ers?
No way.
No, actually. So there's a song by Kojo Q, Workaholics Are Anonymous, and it basically outlays what we do over here. When you're working for someone, you think that the person is giving you a heck of a time, and you are doing all of these extra things. And sometimes you send a report. They say they want it at 5 p.m. You send it at 5 p.m. Don't reply till Monday. And then all of these things are happening. The salary probably doesn't come in time. But this same employer who has employed you, she doesn't even know where the next paycheck is going to come from. He's probably going to sell his TV, probably going to sell his phone just to take care of that. So the thing is, both of us are struggling. The 9-to-5ers and entrepreneurs are struggling, whether it's a matter of respect or not. Both of us are trying to figure things out. And to be honest, a lot of entrepreneurs are coming from 9-to-5 thinking that entrepreneurship will be a safe haven for them until you get in and then you realize that, bro, that 9-to-5 is now a 9-to-9 or a 9-to-12 or a 9-to-1 a.m.
And the woman can have fun.
And also, exactly. We both live in the same economy. Like if 5,000 can't do anything for me, he can't do anything for 9-to-5 either. True. If he can't, take care of his family, his immediate needs, the same thing. It's not like you go somewhere and say, oh, you're an entrepreneur, collect free. It's the same thing, the same currency we are working with. So whether you're doing a 9-to-5 or you're not doing a 9-to-5, I don't think there's anything about respect or no respect. Just, collect your bag wherever it comes from.
Yeah.
Because the mistake they make is they will say, "Oh, I wake up in the morning and I go to work, so I spend on transport." Entrepreneur, you don't, but that's not true.
No, that's
if you think
not
about
true.
it.
That's not true. At all.
Actually, there's a few. How do you guys deal with annoying clients? And that also feeds into customer service.
Oh my god!
Because especially for you, Jay, I remember during the lockdown period, there was this era where every day people come and complain about, I bought my food and the rider this and the rider that.
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with? And because you say the customer is always right.
So I am not sure if I believe in the customer is always right.
Actually, that philosophy is flawed. There's more to the quote.
I do not believe in that.
What the full quote?
Yeah.
I don't remember it exactly, but it insinuates that it is within a certain spectrum. After that, they are wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So the customer is not always right. However, the customer should have the opportunity to express their feedback. That's what I believe. Right. Whether you think it's valid or it's not valid, the customer should be able to express their feedback. And I always say that if a customer expresses their feedback and you can't solve it there, you don't have to try to solve it. It's like something would happen and someone would call and say, "Oh, the delivery guy brought my food and it was a mess." Then immediately, you send a free pack of food. I don't believe in that. Take your time, find out what happened. Yeah, take your time, find out what happened. Maybe, you can call the customer, explain to the customer, "Oh, I use a third party. This is what I'll make sure that this is put in place. I'll make sure the packaging is done properly so that," because obviously, the motor, it will mess up the food. Right. You talk to the customer, you send a free pack. It's not because they can't afford it. It's because you're trying to show them that you care about their complaint. And then now you go back to deal with the courier service. You say, "Guys, there's a problem. We need to fix it." And then you also come and deal with yourself. Like yesterday, yesterday or 2 days ago, I bought a pack of juice from Fika. So I was so impressed the way it was packaged. It was packaged. Like, it's delivery. So they have sealed the top of the cap. Yeah. And I think there were cookies and they had put the individual cookies in brown envelopes. And it just hits me that when you order a KFC KFC crusher, they just give you the cup and the straw. By the time it gets there, and then it's all over the place, and the delivery guy says, "I'm a catcher." But once I saw that Fika's packaging, I was like, "Oh, this is a business that has thought about the food coming to the customer, where it's going to be and how it's going to get there.
The potholes.
Exactly. So for some of us, if it comes to you, like I said, the customer's complaint is valid. Unless there are also some customers.
See, there's a difference between feedback and just being plain rude.
Just being plain rude. Yes.
I ever since this whole content thing started, one thing I've come to notice is there are some people whose strategy for content is outreach. Yeah. They are always outreached about something. It doesn't mean some part of valid, but there are some people that when they wake up in the morning, their content idea is, I have to be outraged by one thing or the other.
Oh, okay.
Just to get views. And right now that Elon is paying people to get views on Twitter DM. All right, so my last and final question, this was actually Kwame's question, was say, if you were offered $100,000 today to stop.
No.
Oh, no. No.
Wait, okay, so name your price.
Oh
no. Price by six. So this is about going for more than 10 years. My business is valued more than $100,000. No, for what?
You even met the vice president. What was that like? Kamala. I'm not talking about meow. I'm talking about vice president of America. Kamala Harris.
I think it was humbling for me to be able to be chosen from what I do, to be able to tell them, what my views are when it comes to women empowerment and business and digitization. So it was really humbling, yeah.
And what's it like, previewing a short film and the feedback and stuff? Because
he was chosen for a film festival. Are you going to blow your own home?
Why did you not posted about it?
Monday was chosen for a film festival last year.
Sir.
Yeah, we've applied for a couple more as well. We're just waiting for feedback. Yeah. But I was also actually quite shocked because I wasn't expecting it.
Ghanaian modesty.
No. To be honest, let me tell you how Mandem started. We went to shoot a skit, and then it became a documentary.
So are you also like into skits?
No, see, the thing was, I wanted to say something. And I thought the best medium to say it was a skit.
Okay.
Right? But when I went to have the conversation with the people, I realized that there was more to the story.
Yeah.
And that the skits wouldn't cut it. Man, them took us a year to produce.
I understand. I started out doing documentaries.
Yes.
It took me 8 months to edit my first documentary. And then I started off the top and I forgot about it. But I'm going to come back to that someday. Yeah. Okay, so to close out, I want you guys to, tell Ghanaians about, if you had like an elevator pitch, 60 seconds to talk about your business.
Oh my!
I knew I should have practiced this part.
Yeah. Pick one of the things you want them to really, really like, So who wants to start first? I'll start for you guys. Okay. Hi guys, my name is Joseph NT and I have a podcast called Sincerely Accra that I started with a friend, Kwame Asante. It comes out every 2 weeks on a Monday. It's really great, it's entertaining, and it makes light of very serious issues that you want to listen to. I've also started my foray into stand-up comedy. It's going to be coming out, my first one that I did is going to be coming out on April 17th, my birthday, and you get to see it. And I'm going to do another one. So please tell your businesses, your friends, your family. In fact, people who have money to sponsor my next one because I want to do it and I'll make you laugh and you will be entertained. What about you guys?
That was like
your mirror has seen things.
Mr. Theacho, Michelle Winfrey. So yeah, guys.
We should give
an elevator pitch. Market something. Market yourself.
Hi, my
name is Jay Abrifebuzia. Hey, is that your name? Why am I saying that? No,
that's a nice name actually.
Wait.
Jay Buzia it's pretty cool, yeah.
JB, why did I say Abrifebuzia? Oh my god, I'm dying. No. Okay, Nyanyuie, you want to go first? Because you're talking about the camera all the time.
Good news. Interesting. Okay.
Hey, this is what I'm going to tell you for entrepreneurs. You have to know how to sell yourself on the spot. Jay is rolling her eyes.
Yeah.
Jay,
I'm rolling my eyes because what did you sell?
Me? Yeah. I sold 2 things. My podcast and my stand-up comedy.
Podcast and stand-up comedy. Yeah, actually did it pretty well. It was quite smooth. It's quite smooth.
Next time, maybe a little more numbers.
Okay. You know what? Social media. Where can they find your social media?
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
At where?
YouTube. Oh, ni na back on to me.
Okay.
Mukaase Chic.
Mukaase Chic.
Yes.
Yeah. CHIC. And yet K. Is there any underscore in there?
No underscore. You want to type in Mukaase Chic, you find me. Yeah.
Mukaase.
And then Nyanyuie is Nyanyuie by Mukaase Chic on all the platforms.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you started your social.
Yes, I have.
Culinary for social change.
Culinary for social change. And like I said, we're using our skills and our resources in culinary to train underprivileged and unskilled women with culinary skills so they can go into their communities, make impact, take care of their families. Off that, we're also creating businesses, culinary businesses for them. So once they finish their training, they can get jobs to do. And do
you still do event catering?
Yes, I still do event catering.
Exactly. It's a more friendly. You know the funny thing, Jay?
Yes.
I'm yet to eat your jollof.
Wow.
What do you have jollof for all those years? Anyway, Nyanyuie, let's have it. Good News Limited. Good news. Crime time for
right? The funny thing is my latest film is called Full Krife.
Okay.
And it has to do with that. It's just being unapologetic about your faith. And that's what is coming out. But you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Our website is sharegoodnews.co. On Instagram is goodnews_LTD. Same on Facebook and all the social media platforms. We are not on Twitter.
I know why. I almost cast too much. Charlie. Anyway, guys, listen, that has been our interview on entrepreneurship. I hope that you were able to get something that will help you. If this may be your sign. Maybe you have been thinking about it. This is your sign. Listen, you're never going to fully figure it out. It's like parenting. You figure it out as you go.
So, are you a parent?
Yes, I have 2 dogs. Yeah, one is 9 years old and one is 2 years old. Accra, you. At least human beings, you can talk to them. But anyway, guys, I hope you were able to get something out of this. And listen, do patronize these businesses. Check them out. If not today, tomorrow, or next week. That's the thing. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
Stick and stay. Sincerely Accra.